Greetings, I am Lies, and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together.
Yes.
Alrighty, so we are back. We have, had some thoughts in the last one, I have to say.
We did.
Some opinions.
So we're gonna move on, we're gonna find out, I'm assuming, who Nadia's mysterious woman is.
Lady is.
So much ladies.
Specified the girl.
Confused, I take Nadia's outstretched hand and follow her away from the Colosseum.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Colosseum. Fuck you.
Oh.
Nadia stops us at the end of the bridge, concern in her eyes. There is a crowd of Vesuvians. What else would you think of them? Like, is that like a regular behavior?
That's something I found interesting, is going, why do we specify Vesuvians? We've done it several times throughout this. And going, Corazon, MC, are you not a Vesuvian? Are you separate from them? Or are Vesuvians a really distinctive presence here? Again, if this is a port town, and based on the map we've seen, it's like all the canals running through it are like shipping canals.
Yeah.
So you've got a massive amount of trade cargo influx, in the city. Or at least it's designed to be that way. Either the plague made it a little different.
Right.
Pardon, hiccups.
Hiccup.
Anyway, so do you have tons of other types of people here from other places?
And are they really obvious?
And they're really obvious, and you specify it when it's a group of only Vesuvians, because you can tell based on their garb and such.
Well, and that was what I'm like, why? It is an unusual choice, and it is actually,
It's like, I've never walked up to a venue and been like, there's a ton of Coloradans here.
Right? You know what? I know exactly where all those people are from. There's a lot of people from Utah here.
Oh god,
we're in Utah!
That's
what I found to be so weird. Like, you're in the city. Why would you go a crowded Vesuvians?
I was gonna say, you walk up to a stadium, wow, a crowd of Californians is here. It does sound odd.
Right?
Maybe it's a regional thing I'm not familiar with.
There is a crowd of Vesuvians gathered around the palace doors, all seemingly waiting for Nadia's triumphant return.
Oh dear. Well, onward and upwards, I suppose.
So my guess here is now that Julian will actually not get hanged unless, Nadia says the decrees it will be so.
They didn't say what his sentence was at the end of the trial. Interesting enough. Again, I'm going, they might just not know how to do this, and since she's not there, she can't tell them how to do it, kind of thing. And so they're just like, well, he's guilty, done. It's like, you didn't proclaim a sentence.
Right, haven't done anything.
Unless the only sentence for absolutely anything previously had all been hanging. And so that is the only thing it can do.
That is how some people have dealt with their problems. They go, well, time to die.
If you do something wrong, and we consider it to be a problem wrong, we just kill you.
Yeah, absolutely. She clears her throat and then holds her head high, striding right through the crowd after she lets my hand go, that I still was incredibly confused by why she took my damn hand.
Also, what we're saying...
Whoa.
Oh, cheers, nice. I say, what we're saying is that from wherever the Colosseum is, she walked back on foot to the palace with you. Didn't get a coach, didn't get a carriage, just grabbed your hand and went running away like school children towards the palace. Where in the entire city, there were no notable crowds or events or anything where people went, wow, there's the Countess who's just been exonerated.
Right.
And or any other crowds anywhere else along the way. It's just a sort of a unified, dedicated group at the palace itself.
Right.
And then you guys assumably haven't run the whole way because Corazon can't, but also just because that'd be a long, long way for even her to run. I assume she's not super fucking athletic.
Honestly, I have no clue.
I don't. I say, but that you then come walking towards it and you see them before they see you, I assume.
Right.
And then, then they see you when you directly exit enter into the visible plane, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Cheers ripple through the crowd as we pass through. It seems like everyone wants to celebrate Nadia's verdict. They don't actually know what that means. Mm-hmm. Guards flank us on either side as we step under the gate. Silent sentinels that escort us through. Nadia dismisses them as we enter the palace proper and continues walking.
Hold on, under the gate? I thought the gate opened out, not lifted like a portcullis.
No, there's no, to me, that looks like a door that folds open.
Yeah.
That is not I raise up and I crinkle into myself somehow, like a garage door.
Well, also, under the gate, you're saying that, part of it stays in place?
This is the gate, this is the archway, I think.
Oh,
I think that's what they mean, because that's the whole gate. That whole thing, it becomes
So they were all over the bridge?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing. But that also seems to be strange.
But that's the front door, I think, instead of the gate.
I know! I don't know what the anatomy is of the grounds / the palace here at all. So.
I just always remember them going through the gate, not under it.
I know.
So I was wondering. Okay, dismisses.
Also, I do have to say something that kind of cracks me up. If, so remember when Nadia was deeply critical of how awful she thought the castle looked.
Yeah.
And she said Lucio had horrible taste.
Yes.
If we're gonna go off of the fact that she has literally said I've only been here for 6 years, does that mean that Lucio was here before then, working on a castle? Because it usually takes a really long-ass fucking time to actually build castles.
Well, and that's
especially
the
with the technology level implied here.
That's what I want to know. I want to know where the castle came from. Did he build it to his own tastes, or did he interior decorate it to his own tastes?
Mm-hmm.
Was it here already, or did, like, he own it and then married, her or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to know, because she doesn't say, like, we came here together. It sounded like she came here to meet him.
So based off of the various, like, things, so I'm sorry, we're running with stuff from the other route that we have seen.
Context.
Yeah, so is that, like, so remember how the other, basically the demons, so Valdemar, Valerius, not Valerius, excuse me, Vlastimel and Volta and Volgora have all stated that they traded something with Lucio for something, right? And that, like, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was like, they did, there was something going, like, he made deals with them. Remember that? Okay. So that was where then he'd made deals and with the devil as well, and the devil was going to get his due, because that was what it ended at the end, and we didn't know what was going on. Anyway, so I'm wondering, what if one of them was literally going, give me a fancy palace, and I will tell you how to design it because I'm an idiot, and I don't actually know anything other than castles should be clearly white and gold, and they need to have lots of towers and spires, which is because I always wondered why it was a little bit off-center in that way. Like, it looked sort of disorganized, like somebody just sort of gone to town.
I mean, it is an asymmetrical castle, which do certainly exist, but it starts very symmetrical and then deviates really quickly. So, but also, I really want to know, usually when you have a giant stained glass window, it has some kind of iconic meaning.
Yes.
And I want to know what the damn little, like, heart perfume bottle thing means in the flower.
It could be a heart and a dagger. I've always kind of thought that. Like, not necessarily, honestly, though, my part of my brain also keeps screaming a lot about going, yes, Beauty and the Beast.
I would say, also, if Lucio designed the castle, which we don't know if he did.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm literally just guessing.
Because it's his castle. Because Nadia never talks about it as being her castle. Always as being his.
And again, if she criticized it, my assumption was that she went, ugh. He designed this thing, he made this thing, like, she doesn't, like, that is the history she knows, which also, again, I'm like, holy shit, how'd you build this in, like, what, 6 years?
Or how long did it take you, and then if she was also asleep in it during 3 years, so it was clearly built before that.
However,
it was also built
disappeared
when she came here 3 years ago.
Right.
Or 6 years ago,
6 years
whichever
ago.
it was.
It's 6 years, and then 3 years ago, Lucio died, and then she passed out.
I have the hardest time with this. All right, anyway, Palace proper.
Palace proper.
All right.
She stops as soon as we have entered her room.
We're going to go meet a mysterious woman in my bedroom.
Whoa.
Hey, honey.
Would you like to meet a mysterious woman?
In my bedroom? In my room? Whoa.
That is in my bed.
Okay, but that is one way to be like, I
rolled to seduce. Hey, honey.
No, like what is it, like, nice in the streets, a freak in the sheets? I can't remember the streets one.
Oh, yeah, well,
like
it depends.
Saint or whatever.
Like a saint in the streets,
a
freak in the sheets. Yeah,
so
kind of like it can be any.
So you're this really nice, really sweet, very, demure, contained kind of person, very fluffy.
Cinnamon roll in the streets.
Cinnamon roll in the streets, and then you're just like,
in the sheets.
Would you like to come to my room and meet a mysterious woman? And it's the freak in the sheets.
Yeah.
That would be a hilarious pickup line.
That would be deeply funny.
Be super cute. Come on.
She stops as soon as we have entered her room, letting out a long, low breath that she clearly didn't know she was holding.
They needn't have cheered like that. I've done little to earn the accolades. Yet.
I actually find that to be very strange myself, especially considering, based on at least Nadia's own assessment, but also, like, Nadia literally doesn't know. I'm just like, game, you want us so badly go, no, she's great. And I'm like, she married Lucio. She was with Lucio. She apparently participated in a lot of his shit. So why would be considered to be a separate element from him?
There is a level of being party to, even if you're not directly, like, of being an accomplice, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So if Lucio had a slave or slaves, don't know how many.
I mean, he had at least Muriel.
At least one. I would say that he ran in the Colosseum against whomsoever else, and in matches to the death. Maybe that was your capital punishment before hanging came a thing.
Right.
Who knows? Or people just volunteered and died for it.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Then, like, she was party to that. She aided and abetted or was accomplice to that thing.
Mm.
Also, if that wasn't illegal, it was just something distasteful because you have, like, full power over everything as Count and Countess.
That's why, again, I said they seem to be acting more like royalty, which, if you're
Or like
also
king
going
and queen.
with the fact that, like, my brain is kind of wondering if one of the reasons why this sounds so weird is quite literally just because he made supernatural deals. Of course, it wouldn't work normally like this if he hadn't made a deal with the devil.
But was his deal with the devil to be Jafar, rule on high over everyone?
Maybe.
Who knows? All right.
Like, I don't know. We haven't played that one.
But also, a little to earn the accolades. Yet. But also going, yeah, you're right. You didn't run or the trial. You didn't establish that Julian was anything. It was other people that did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also, you know, you haven't heard back from Portia yet.
It's fine.
Oh.
They believe in you. You gave them what they wanted.
I don't think we have a pulse on what the people of Vesuvia want. I'm just gonna, like, put that out there. I don't think that Corazone's deeply in touch with what the people of Vesuvia want.
Yeah, that sounds very strange. Like, there is an element, though, of going, like, I'm assuming you gave them what they wanted, because I don't think, again, like, yeah, but I agree with my friend. Corazon has any idea, but saying they believe in you is also going, I know what they believe, you know, and that seems to be strange, but...
On the other hand, they believe in you can be taken in a very soft kind of way. Can be like a, you know, essentially like they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a, they believe in you. They believe what you're doing is right. They have faith in you.
Even though she's barely done anything. And her position was greatly disproved in about 2 seconds by Valerius. After I just find it be funny where you keep trying to go, yeah, she's this big, huge, powerful, important figure. I'm like, but she's not.
Well, she also apparently...
She's easily, basically, dethroned, disempowered, whatever else, but then she gains it back in weird, like, girl boss ways that just sort of crack me up. Because also going, well, if it's the people who matter, and your people don't really care...
Mm. Also, like, again, she's continually, I'm above the law. It's weird to tell how much she's actually doing versus is not doing.
I know! I'm like,
seems,
what have you actually done?
A lot of people seem sort of passive in this story.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's just sort of happening around them.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, well, because I'm Nadia, just things happen.
Well, and it's a level of, like, I've gone and talked to people. I've made an announcement. Everyone, and also, like, everyone's surprisingly loyal to you. I have told my entire crew we're going to do trials now. We hate you and we don't want to do what you say, but we're going to do a trial now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it the way you say, because you're not correcting us. So apparently it is.
I guess the only thing that I have here really would be, even so with the MC that they've been putting forward, of trying to connect Nadia to people, of trying to connect to people's, like, experiences with being like, they believe in you.
Because they are super enthusiastic and she can never connect to anyone's enthusiasm about her.
She just doesn't understand it. So it's trying to connect her to them. Instead of going, well, you gave them what they wanted. They believe in you. You've won them over.
I mean, they apparently all loved you anyways, despite your great long absence.
Oh my god.
So there wasn't really any winning them over. Won them over. What exactly do I have on my resume that might impress them? You're really like self-deprecation in all moments. I have literally no value. I mean, I'm powerful and I can do anything I want, and I know that I'm amazing. But also, what would ever be impressive about me?
And the thing that I think is interesting is, like, I understand, like, I've run into people who do this. Like, they seem greatly confident, very capable, very, like, good at self-assessment, whatever else, but as soon as you involve, like, other people, they go, what do you want? Like, what's going on? Like, what? I have value to people, but I'm doing my own thing. Yeah. So, it's a little weird.
I have occasionally had that about things that I was doing for myself, and people, God, you're so important to other people, and I'm like, what? Is that important to other people? But it's been few and far between in my life. Like, examples I can think of.
It's not really common.
I don't know. She just seems like, she's like, oh, she angry. Solved a murder? Well, they are going to be sorely disappointed to discover it is not solved at all.
Corazon, whoa, that is not what I said.
They may cheer when I have actually fixed their problems. You think not knowing who the murderer is their big problem. You don't think it's poverty, you don't think it's the economy, you don't think it's the infrastructure.
You don't
of the
think
city.
it was the previous people
You
who
don't
were
think
in charge.
it's, I was to say, lack of leadership. You don't think it's current poor leadership or the previous poor leadership.
Which you have said that, hey, they're all going to now be investigated, and also you're actively doing something about it, which is to say you've at least done something with Valerius, even though technically you should have done something with all the other ones as well.
Also going, you don't think Lucio's leadership was poor leadership? And you don't think that needs either corrected or accommodated for? You don't think that any amount of, like, just improving things is required? It's just, they need to know who the murderer is. You seem really fixated on
Which
this.
also seems to be weird for somebody who hated your husband. Well, I like justice. Yeah, well, that seems strange for you?
Well, I like justice because I believe it's what the people need.
But
It's
not what I need, but what they need.
It's one of those things of going, I'm taking care of the people. I have decided that this is their problem, and I have decided that this is how to fix it.
Yeah.
The way the dominant partner in a relationship often does. Oh, your problem is that you're not getting enough sleep. I have decided to fix it by putting you to bed at 6 p.m.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's it.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I've done that to my friends sometimes, going like, friend, go to sleep.
I have done that to every one of my friends at some
Me
point,
too.
being like, you are exhausted, and you are telling me you need to get up, and they're like, well, I know, but and you're like, please go to sleep.
Go to bed. I just
Go to
kidding.
bed. I was just like,
But that is a really like simple.
But it's
like,
something
kind of...
that I've had happen to me in like previous like romance, like in my historical
intimate romantic relationships.
Yeah, romantic relationships where the dude would just be like, I'm going to decide to control your sleep because you have seemed like your problem is being tired.
Yeah.
Yep. They may cheer. They will have permission to.
Somehow that doesn't feel quite right. You've given them hope, Nadia. That's something worth celebrating.
Please don't completely hamstring yourself.
I don't know.
I've done nothing.
I'm like, that is a weird thing to have Corazon say, just to be honest. Because also part of it is like, I wasn't expecting coming here to basically baby you.
You know what's also weird?
It's okay.
Also weird?
Well,
Is going the, yes, we've done it! Do you want a premium scene? Take some time to celebrate? And now here at the castle, there's nothing at all to celebrate, period. That's a strong turn on her own part for her own opinions.
actually, that's a really good point.
Like, and going, I know that afterwards she kind of went, oh yeah, Julian, but she also acted like she hadn't forgotten him at all.
Yeah.
Just going the, right, there's still more to deal with. But going, it was distinctively, this is a success to celebrate. Agreed. And then now we're back here and she's going, for me and myself, I thought it was a thing to celebrate. But for them, they should pipe the fuck down. That's nothing to be excited about. I will show them a solution to their real problem when finally it comes. You know?
Yeah, which is
A little wild.
actually a good point. And we've pointed that out, actually, there seems to be quite a few weirdly incongruent moments going, we have no time at all! Who would you like to celebrate? You know, like, there are, like, they really cannot figure out their own pacing, which is a thing we complained about with less direction in Julian's route, but it seems more obvious now that we're watching this again.
Yeah.
They just cannot decide what they're doing.
Alrighty. Hope. Then, I hope I shall not disappoint them.
Nadia smiles softly at me, brushing her hand over my shoulder, and then clears her throat. I'm far more comfortable with this because we are in a private scenario.
Because no one can see us. We're not in public. Well, those are worries for tomorrow. We came here for a specific reason.
Yes, we did.
You actually grabbed my hand and whisked me literally away to here for a mysterious woman thing. Follow me.
Nadia moves over to a large purple curtain hanging on a windowless wall. She pulls the fabric swiftly to the side, revealing a door. It's easily as tall as the room itself, made out of rich Tyrian amaranth wood.
What is that, and why do we know it?
If it is something rich and wealthy and wood, our character knows such weird, eclectic things, and I'm actually really fascinated going, how do we know this shit? What do we know about?
Astra very casually, well, yes, this is,
Please, of course, this is the rich
say-
Tyrian amaranth wood.
This is a small trinket that I require. It is very pretty. And I want you to know that the type of dark wood that's made out of is rich emerald. And it just thinks in your head.
You could, that could be something, because sometimes you remember weird things as a child. There's also the potential option of going amaranth, Tyrian amaranth wood is actually really good for spells or spell casting or whatever
and
else.
it's
So if
specific.
you are a very good magician, you would go, oh, it is a magical wood.
It would have been
Basically.
fun to have this be a payoff of some kind.
Yes.
To have there been a setup for it, instead of just a, hey, weird wood that we have no connection to.
Though I will also say at the same time, so I was thinking about it, but somebody did point out in one case that sometimes if you just have things in stories that basically all circle back in on themselves,
It's
you can
too
make your
perfect.
world seem really tiny.
It's true.
And I'm already like, the Arcana already struggles with a lot of that because you have so few people you interact with, and everybody seems weirdly isolated from each other even, so...
It's true. Okay, so that's fair, and I kind of like that. But
Two-
also it's just wild of going... I think for me, it's not so much of, well, you need to tie everything in as much as sometimes we move to real specific levels of detail.
Yes.
And other times we are super vague.
Super
about it.
light, super vague, we wander off on things, you're like, Why
And I know you
describe this
can
thing?
go back and forth with different things, but usually a narrator has reasonably, like, relatively consistent stuff in their head. And, like, depending on, like, however they talk to themselves in their head is usually fairly consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, specifically mentioning things without mentioning why you went differently.
Why do you suddenly point out that it's Tyrion Amaranth Wood?
Instead of going, like, I haven't specifically mentioned what kind of cloth her bed is draped with, or what kind of, what her desk is made out of, what the floor is made out of. I haven't mentioned what the other doors generally are made out of.
It's black.
Even the library door, it was made out of wood, but we didn't say what kind, did we?
We did not. What we said is that it had an intricate lock on it that we were deeply shocked and surprised about, but I don't actually know if we've talked about that in Nadia's route that much, which I think is really funny.
Because it's her door.
Well, it was literally her door, so we get the payoff of going, yeah, Nadia really was the one who really did make this in this route, but not really when we were introduced to it in Julian's.
Also, we haven't had, like, the really, really aggressive locking and unlocking of the library, which is a really big plot point in his, which is funny.
I know! Two carved cranes inlaid with lapis lazuli swoop down from either door. They share a pomegranate in their outstretched claws.
Ooh.
Nadia presses the pomegranate, and it clicks. A small wooden panel moves to the side, revealing a single keyhole. Then she unlocks the doors and leads us up a set of marble stairs.
I keep mysterious women in secret places.
Of course, with
Alright.
eyeballs and fountains. Eyes.
Oh, they're kind of... they're crying eye motif.
They're crying eye motif, yeah.
That's fascinating looking.
The first thing I notice is not the eyeballs, but the scent of jasmine, lingering in the air as we reach the top steps.
Oh, because you can't see this yet.
Oh, okay, yeah then.
Because you're getting to the top of the stairs and you just noticed the smell change.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't smell like water, it smells like jasmine.
Honestly, I would have said the first thing I notice as we ascend, as we ascend, is the smell of jasmine. I would have put that differently. Not the first thing I noticed with the scene change.
It's okay. Again, the graphics don't have to match up to the story.
I know, but it is a thing we've discussed before.
It's very popular for them not to. I almost think it's part of the genre, actually. Yeah. Now that I'm exposed to it more and more.
The sound of gently flowing water echoes up towards the high ceilings. Nadia settles down gently on a round, tasseled pillow, and I settle down next to her.
So, poor Zone actually can't see the waterfalls, or doesn't care about to find them noteworthy?
Doesn't care.
Going, the sound of water is here, but not the scent or presence or visuals.
Or where it's coming from or anything else.
Right. I can't see the water or a pool or anything like that. I'm not talking about any of it, but I'm like, I can hear water, smell jasmine, and there's a pillow.
Maybe the implication is actually supposed to be the first thing I notice is this thing, and then you're allowed to fill in the other details. But that seems goofy to me, because I feel like your character would go, whoa, eyeballs, waterfalls coming out of eyeballs,
or even
the pond with the flowers.
Even if you don't notice the eyeball motif, in the same way that we described, like, the bathtub scene and stuff, you think you'd describe the pond and the waterfalls? Again, it's the level of inconsistent description. It's not really so much that it needs to all tie into something.
No. I settled down next to her. But the thing is usually what you do notice tends to either be stuff that's new, alarming, something that you go, oh, is that something to be worried about or concerned
something you care about?
Fascinated, something you care about. Yeah, I know. Down next to her.
I'm sure you've surmised already, but... this is my contemplation tower. This is where you do your mechanical workshop shit?
What?
Where are your tools and your greasy tables and all of your cogs and gears? Where's your soldering implements and your, forge? How do you build clocks in a water pond?
What?
Are you fucking... She's a magical engineer. Oh my god. She's a freaking magical engineer.
And she keeps everything in water?
Or she doesn't use the water at all. She just pulls it out of cute little boxes, magics it all together. Like, what she's got is basically, you've got all your throw pillows around, and then you've got these casually, like, draped in fabric, or just, like totes and tubs of things sitting around. These really nice decorative boxes that you don't think about. Those big, like, hope chests that you open up and stuff, the things that go at the end of beds.
Right.
But they're all, like, gilded or pretty or whatever, and they look like seats.
Right.
And she just pulls out all the implements. I've brought springs and cogs and thingies and pretty stuff, and magics them all together. And then it just puts it all away. There's no grease, there's no building, there's no screwdrivers, there's no nothing, there's no tools.
That is bizarre.
Unless this is only like one tiny chunk of the Contemplation Tower.
Like, I hope it's a tiny chunk, because it's the only thing that makes sense. My brain is really like, I was picturing...
a workshop.
Yeah, like...
full-ass workshop.
What?
Wow. Huh. Also, if Lucio built this thing, did she just secretly take part of it away?
I don't know. I don't understand any of this. How dare he? Horrible sense of taste. By the way, he still gave me a room that was all my own and I could be alone here.
I guess.
For what reason? I hated him. He was an awful person. He gave you a space to your own.
He did let you have your she-shed, as it were. Your personal
Which
space.
I'm not saying, like, that she should be grateful for, because that sounds awful anyway, of going, you have to be thankful because he gave you a room.
On the other hand, it could be, like, she has her own apartments, and he has his own apartments, and in hers, she has a secret place she can go. And so, maybe it could have been something like back when they were assumably romantic near the beginning, or she was excited about him at the beginning.
Maybe.
And he was like, grand gestures that are about me, and my algorithm for romance is, yes, I give you things that are just for you.
Except for the fact that she didn't realize it at the time and went, this is really, like, he managed to basically figure out what it was, but it was in the end for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, wow, I was deeply touched.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, you kind of find out later going, oh, you really did just fucking do this for yourself. Thanks!
This was really about me and how magnanimous I am.
Oh, thank you.
All right. You are the first person I have ever invited here.
She reaches out, taking both of my hands in hers, and leans forward just slightly.
I have a feeling I won't regret it. She is hemming a lot lately.
She is.
Like, a lot.
There's a lot of...
Like, I guess, like, have you gotten super, like, nervous since the trial? Or is the dust in the Colosseum? It's the damn dust in the Colosseum.
It's the dust, and now she's in the wet. She's very humid. Like, holy shit, this place would be humid.
I'm also just like, that is, like, 5 times in the last, like, in this sort of chapter, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I brought you here because I need your help, Corazon. I need to speak to the High Priestess.
I blink, processing the request. The High Priestess, one of the major arcana that speaks to me through the tarot deck.
And Asra? That speaks to me and Asra? Only to you anymore.
I could do a reading. That's not much of a conversation. I have a feeling Nadia means something very different.
So, I want you to meet someone. So I want to introduce you to a mysterious woman. I'm going to request that you summon someone out of the ether for me.
Right. Someone that I actually don't have access to according to this line.
I was going to say, okay, but like, this sounds wild. Can you imagine someone that is, you know, close to you at this point, that you've worked with for quite a while, that you have a rapport and potentially some form of friendship with, and definitely a type of relationship with, being like, we've just had a major victory, but there's still questions. Come, I want you to meet a mysterious woman. And then they take you to a place, and let's imagine there's no magic. And they take you to a gate. They go, beyond this gate lives, you know, the queen of this other realm. I've never been there before. Take me to her, please. I want you to meet a mysterious woman. Please give me access to her.
Yeah,
That feels really weird.
Get it either, just to be perfectly honest.
There was a place I once visited as a child. A sort of gateway. And beyond that gate...
You found the High Priestess.
I guess. And you knew what her name was? So you are familiar with the concept. The concept of running into a gate?
What? I nod slowly, mulling it over. What she's talking about sounds like a personal gate. Great, thank you for letting me have magic lore in the second route of a whole series where I barely had any information at all.
This could have been the first route, though, so this would just be the original exposition.
Oh,
Personal gate.
As again, I'm like, which one did you want me to play first?
As far as I keep hearing, you're supposed to be able to play them in any order, even Lucio first.
I
feel like if someone played Lucio first with no knowledge of this game at all, they would be real confused based on what I've heard. Which I know very little, but based on what I've heard.
Yeah, I doubt. It's a concept I've heard of before, though I've never actually seen one. A spiritual gateway to a magical realm where the Arcana dwell. A place outside the physical realm. I am literally...
Astra taught you about everything else, but not about that?
Remember that happened in Julian's route too? We didn't actually know much about the magic dealing with the Arcana at all.
He really is very secretive about it.
You're like, I know some things, but other things, woo! But the thing is we don't know what that is, because apparently we can do some really wild and crazy magic, but only when the plot says we can.
And sometimes when we're just feeling it in our jellies.
In our jellies. Only a powerful magician is capable of visiting, or someone with a strong tie to one of the Arcana.
Okay. I lost the ability to go to that gate some time ago. Oh, so not...
But like you literally said, she said I visited once as a child. That's a really long time ago, honey. You just like...
Okay,
That's
so...
what already was implied in what you said.
Usually when I've had something visited upon me by chance once, I don't consider it losing the ability to do it, that it isn't to happen again.
Actually,
like
that's
sometimes,
fair.
okay, so I'm an extremely vivid dreamer.
Yes.
Like, massively vivid dreamer. I have incredibly realistic dreams, okay?
Yes.
Everybody going, well, yeah, but you can't feel anything in your dreams. I'm like, no, I can. Well, you don't breathe in your dreams. Yes, I do. Well, you can't remember, yes, I can. Like, I have a hard time. Sometimes I have to basically think contextually of, could that have happened in reality? Because I can't always parse my dreams from my memories, except for going, all right, dragons don't exist in reality, kind of thing, or
Right.
I can't fly in reality, so that was clearly a dream. But like everything, I have them completely indistinguishable. The feeling of cloth, the weight of fabric, the fact that something will itch, whatever it is, all of it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and just like losing. When I have a random, really ass cool, very, very meaningful and profound seeming dream, and then I never return to it ever again, I don't think of it as losing the ability to have that dream, because it just happened to me once.
Well, and that's actually a really excellent point, going like, a happenstance is not I've developed an ability. A happenstance is literally you had a chance, a random thing, the dice rolled, it landed on a 20, you didn't skillfully go, I know how to roll the die with my mind to make it a 20 every time. It is gravity made it fall that way.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, this is a weird way to describe it. I lost the ability to go to that gate some time ago.
But this whole section seems sort of like she keeps... like
the gate that I've been to once.
It keeps going back and forth anyway. Oh, let us celebrate. This is no time for celebration. Let's do this thing. Like, we're jumping back and forth with what we mean, almost like in the next scene, and it's weird.
I wonder if it's supposed to show that she is deeply disorganized. I wonder if it's supposed to be soft exposition that just didn't get fully refined, that she really is feeling sort of disconnected and out of her depth. The fact that she can't connect to the people, the fact that she doesn't want them to appreciate her work, the fact that she doesn't admit her own value in reference to anyone else ever, and that she keeps going back and forth on her definitions is really just supposed to be, she is in way over her head. The loss of her memories is deeply affecting her. She really doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing. She has no counsel or support, and even if she has you really can't give her any useful information into what good choices or actions would be here, because you have no connection to being the ruler of everything in your local sphere.
Yeah, I mean, you barely even have any connection to, like, this concept of going, could you talk to the Arcana for me? Going, like, you have no ability to, as far as we know. All you had was casually, talking through the tarot deck is no conversation.
This also seems like a really wild segue from, I've been doing I've plumbed every investigative depth I could possibly come up with. I have done all of it to find out what this mystery is, and we've moved towards the trial, and I believe that I have the right information, and then going, well, no, I don't think I have it. You know what? Let's talk to this mysterious force that I've just decided you can give me access to. And going, did you only just think of this thing? Did you only just remember it was possible? Did something spark this in your brain and you went, you know what? I forgot it was maybe an option, even though it's not actually an option, because she doesn't know if you can actually do this.
Yeah.
She's just guessing.
I have no idea, but you know what? We're out of time.
Can you help me get there again? In the next one.
Hey, thank you, Nadia. We can get there in the next one.
Whoa,
so,
spicy.
Get there for the first time, actually, but thanks.
The second time, but I'll go for the first.
Ooh. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. It has been super helpful. We appreciate all your help with the horrid algorithm.
And just being more visible. It's really nice when people find our channel, and it's really fun to hear from people when they're like, I didn't know you existed, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, and it's been really neat to run into people, especially as I know that the game is technically over with, actually. It's been done for probably about a month or 2 or 3 months. And so it's been fun to actually run into people now who are just like, oh my god, this thing!
New content!
Yeah, so it's really nice to have you, but also, again, as per always, we love having you guys around. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. I do appreciate that y'all are keeping the spoilers out of the comments.
It's lovely.
It's awesome, because we really honestly don't know what's going on here. And that is the whole point, is to play this blind. But yeah, if you'd also like to support us even more, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon and our Twitch. We've actually got links to all 3 of those in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Liz.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!